दोनों फिर पहली जो वो ली गई थी रिकॉर्डिंग
So good evening, guys, everyone. Am I audible? Please respond.
Yes.
Okay, guys. So let's begin now. So yesterday already we have discussed what is the Azure, okay, data engineering. Okay. So guys, as you know all that Azure data engineering is nothing but it is the bunch of cloud services, guys. It is a bunch of cloud services wherein multiple services are intact here. Okay. Okay, it's a bunch of cloud services wherein, okay, using this that is called as the Azure data engineering, we can perform the following task, guys. Okay, that is the Azure data engineering is a bunch of cloud services, and using these services, guys, we can perform the following task. What is that? The first one is called as what? Data migration, as already we have seen it. Then we have the data integration. Okay, data migration, data integration. Then we have the data summarization. Then we have the data visualization. Okay, guys. So these are all the services. These are all the tasks we can do it by using the Azure data engineering. That is, these are the following things we have it. Okay, that is called as data migration. Then we have the data integration. Okay, data migration, data integration, data summarization, and the next one is what? Data visualization. Now, guys, the whole process starts from where? Everyone. The whole process starts from data. Am I right? The whole process here starts from what's that, guys? Data. So data means what, everyone? Information. Am I right? Now, guys, everyone, what are the sources of information? Everyone, you will get the data from some or the other source. Am I right? We get the data from some or the other source. What's the source of information? We can say the first source of information as what is that? Social networking sites. We get the data from the social networking sites. What are the social networking sites, guys, everyone? So we can say these are nothing but we have the Facebook, then we have the Insta, that is Instagram. Then we have what is it, guys? Okay, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Okay, then we have the LinkedIn. Okay, guys, these are all the, yes, these are all the sources. These are all the sources of data we have it. Okay, these are all called as what? Sources of data, where the data here is generated in which format here, guys? Massive form, massive amount of data, massive amount of data, guys, everyone. Massive amount of data. Here we will get what's that? Massive amount of data will be generated. Okay, massive amount of data. Whereas the other source of getting the data, guys, what is the other source of getting the data? The first source is was the social networking sites from where we get the data. And the second source is what, guys, everyone? We get the data from, yes, we get the data from what? Banking applications. Banking applications. So where these banking applications are used, guys? These banking applications are used at the banks. Am I right? These are used at the banks. And where even these generates, yes, guys, huge amount of data or the huge volume of the data. Okay. Huge amount of data. So we can say, guys, huge volume of data or the huge amount of data will be generated by these applications. Okay. Then what is the other source, guys? The very important and the major source nowadays where from where we can expect the data. That is called as what? Data from the live streaming process. Data from the live streaming process. Hmm? Data from the live streaming process. Data from the live streaming process, guys. Data from the live streaming process means what? Where we get the data on the continuous basis. Now, guys, tell me, what is the source you have it from where you get the continuous data, guys? Continuous source of getting the data, such as we can say, guys, stock market. Am I right? Stock market. That is called as shares, trading, etc. Everything comes under the stock market, where we get the live streaming data, guys, on the continuous basis, where in a couple of seconds, guys, in a couple of seconds or microseconds, you can get massive volume of the data. Then we have what's that, guys? You can take an example of a live cricket match also. Live cricket match. Okay. So these are all the sources of getting the data. So apart from this, can you see it? This generates the massive amount of data, which we also call it as what, guys? Big data. Which we also call it as what? Big data. Big data means what? The huge volume of the data is called as the big data. Now, guys, these are the some of the sources we have it. Apart from this, what is the another source from where we can get the data, guys? So we can also get the data from where, from called as what? Human generated data. Human generated data. Human generated data means what? The data which is generated by you and me is called as what? Human generated data. Okay, guys, human generated data. And guys, and what is the other source? You can say machine generated data. Machine generated data. So even this is nothing but it is also, or this will generate the massive amount of data, which is called as a big data. Apart from this, we have many more sources, guys, which we will discuss it in future. Okay. So we have what's that? This all data is called as what? Big data technically. Technically, this data is called as what, guys? Big data. This data is called as what? Big data. Big data means what? Huge. Big means what, guys? Huge. Big means what? Huge. And the data means what? Information. Huge information, we can say. Now, when we talk about the big data, guys, when we talk about the big data is classified into, yes, guys, the big data is classified into, the big data is classified into three categories or three types of data, we can say. Whatever it may be, the big data, you have it. Whatever the volume of data, whatever the amount of data we have it, that will be classified into three different categories. What are those? The first one is called as, what is it, guys? Structured data. Okay. And the next one is called as what? Semi-structured data. And the third type of data, that is called as what, guys? Unstructured data. So these are all the different categories of data we can have. Structured data, semi-structured data, and as well as what's that? Unstructured data we have it. Okay. Structured data, semi-structured data, and as well as the unstructured data. Structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. So what do you mean by, first of all, the structured data? Let's try to see this, guys. Structured data is nothing but, everyone, the data which is kept in the form of a tabular format. Tabular format means what, guys? Tabular format means what? The data which is kept in the form of a table. So table means what? A table is the collection of, what is it, guys? Rows and columns. The table is the collection of what? Rows and columns. So guys, the data, if we put the data in the tabular format, that is in the form of a rows and columns, this data is easily understandable. This data is easily understandable for all the users. That is nothing but, suppose I'm taking an example here. Name. Okay, let's take it here. This is a data which is related to employees. So I'm using employees as the heading of this. That means the table name is employees, guys. The table name is employees, wherein I'm using name of the employee, guys, wherein I'm using what's that? Name of the employee. Then the next one is what? ID of the employee, that is identification number. Then we have what's that? Salary of the employee, guys. And then let us take a job here. So these are called as what, guys? These are called as what? Columns. Am I right? These are called as what? Columns. These are called as what? Columns here. These are called as columns. Now, what about the rows, guys? The rows are written inside the column. So suppose I'm just giving here the first name as Alan. The ID number is something like this. Okay. And then we have the salary. Salary is what's that? Let us take it as 50,000 as a salary. And job is, let us say, SE, that is called a software engineer. Then we have what is that, guys, everyone? Bobby. 60,000. Let us make it as a SSE, senior software engineer. Then we have the next one, as can you see here? Carl. 70,000. MGR means what? Manager. MGR is nothing but what? Manager. That's it. Okay. So here you have what's it? So guys, these are called as what? Rows. Am I right? These are called as what? Rows here. So whereas, can you see here? Guys, these are called as what? Rows here. These are called as what? Rows. And this above is called as what? Columns. So hence we can say, guys, this is the collection of what is that? Rows and columns. So together, the rows and columns together is called as what? A table. So if you just look into this data, easily you can understand and say that this is nothing but a data which is pertaining to the employees, which is pertaining to what's it, guys? Employees, which is pertaining to what? Employees. Okay, guys. So this is called as what? The data which is pertaining to the employees. Am I right, everyone? This is pertaining to what's it? Employees. Okay. Whereas when we talk about, guys, the semi-structured means what? The data which is, okay, understandable by the user, but not fully. Semi-structured. That means it has structure, but not in the fully formatted. But the above one, this is called as what? Fully formatted data. So here you can say, guys, the semi-structured data is nothing but the data which you have in the form of what's that? JSON. That is, which stands for what? Java, guys, which stands for what? Java script object notation. So Java files, which we call it as what? JSON files, which we call it as what? JSON files. Okay. The data which is recorded in the form of what's that? JSON files. Okay. The data which is recorded in the form of what? JSON. That is called as what? JavaScript object notation file. Then apart from this, you have the data in what? XML file. So XML stands for what? Extendable markup language, or the exponential markup language, we call it. Okay. And then you have what's that? Again, next we have the HTML, which stands for what? Hypertext markup language. Okay, guys, which stands for what? Hypertext markup language. So these all are also called as files, where this file stores the data. Now we will discuss what is a JSON and how does it stores the data. So guys, as you know, the JSON stands for JavaScript object notation file. That is, JSON file stores the data in the form of what is it? Key value pair. Key value pair. Where, guys, everyone, where the key is nothing but what, guys? The key is nothing but the column names. Always the columns are called as what? Keys here, guys. And what is the value? This is called as the value, guys. So hence, together, the value is nothing but what? The rows is called as a values. Okay. Whereas, guys, together, the combination of key and value together, the combination of key and value together is called as a pair. So hence we call it as what? Key value pair. Key value pair. That means the data within the JSON is recorded in the form of what, guys? Key value pair. In the form of what? Key value pair, everyone. In the form of a key value pair. Where, guys, where what is a key, what is a value, and what is a pair? Let us try to write this data, the structured data, into the JSON form. And see how does it appears. Okay. So when we talk about the JSON, guys, as you know that the data here is recorded in the form of a key value pair. Always the data is written in the curly braces, where this brace is called as an opening brace and this is called as a closing brace. Okay, guys. This one is called as what? Opening brace, and this one is called as a closing brace. Okay, guys. So here you have what's that? Can you see here? Here you have what's that? Everyone. So let's write the key value pair here. First of all, I'm writing the key. Make sure always the keys are written in the double quotes. Whether it is a character or numeric, doesn't matter. But the keys are written in what? Double quotes. So I'm using it here. Name. Okay. Name is the first key you have it, guys. Everyone. Name is the first key we have it. Name is the first key. Just a minute. So here you have what's it, guys? Name. So name is the column name you have it. The next one is what? The next one is what's it? Can you see it? I'm using the name followed by a colon, guys. Colon represents what? Data. Colon represents what? Data. So data in this is what? Again, the data is a character data now. So I'm using it in the quotes here, everyone. So this is together is called as what? Value and key. Together is called as what? Key value pair. Now, guys, the first row is written, but you have how many rows? 3 rows are there now. Or let us write the rest of the columns as well here. So I'm writing the second row here. Okay, guys, here you have what's it? Can you see? The second row I'm writing it here, everyone. The second row, can you see here, guys? The second row. What's the second column you have it? ID is the second column. Am I right? So just can you see here? The ID is here. And what is the value of the ID, guys, everyone? What is the value of the ID? 3443. Now, this is a numeric value now. Hence, it is not mentioned or it will not be placed under the quotes here, guys. Comma. I'm writing the third row. What is that? Salary. Guys, everyone, salary. What is the salary? Salary is 50,000. This is also numeric value now. Hence, it is not placed under the quotes here. Finally, what is it you have it, guys? Job. So I'm writing the job here, everyone. And the job is what, everyone? The job is the software engineer, ESE. This is a numeric value. So now this is called as the end of the first document. It is called as what? The end of what? First document. That means this is called as a JSON document, guys. It is called as what? JSON document. Okay. So whereas the JSON is nothing but it is in the form of a key value pair. The data which is recorded in the form of a key value pair, and it is mentioned in the form of a, what is it, guys? Curly braces, and this is called as one JSON document. So now, guys, the second row we'll write it here, everyone. So for the second row, you have to give a comma here, and now again the same thing is placed here. Can you see? So column names will not change, but the rows will change here. What is that? You have the Bobby. salary is 60,000, and here you have SSC. Again, the comma placed here like this. And then you have what's it? Instead of alien, I'll give it as a Carl. Then you have what's it? And then you have what's it, guys? 70,000. And here you can say MGR. That's it. This is the end of it. Now, end of it means what? Everyone, end of it means what? No data is placed here, guys. Okay. So this is how it works, everyone. This is how it works. Okay. This is how it works, guys. So this is called as the JSON data. Okay, everyone. And the next one, guys, apart from this, everyone, the next one is what is that you have it? XML, guys. If I write the data in the XML format, everyone, if I write the data in the XML format, guys, everyone, if I write the data in the XML format, let us see how does it write the data. Same data, I'll write it in the XML format, guys. Okay. So XML format, how does it write? The data will be there in the form of a tags. So these are called as what? Tags, guys. So this is called as what, everyone? Opening tag, or I can say root tag. And these are called as what? Row tags, guys. See, I'm explaining you all these. Why? Because we are going to deal with all this data now. Okay. Very shortly, we are going to deal with all this kind of data, guys. That is the reason for discussion of all this. So root tag and row tags. Okay. So here, the root tag means what, guys? The root tag here, in this case, the name of the table will become the root tag. The root tag. This is called as the opening root tag. It is called as what? Opening root tag. Row tag means what, guys? The rows. What is the row you have it, everyone? The row is what? The first row, that is a column name is name. This is called as the opening row tag. And here you will have a closing row tag. What is the difference between opening and closing? Closing is given with a slash here. Closing is given with a slash here, guys. And what about the data? The data is mentioned between these two, opening and closing tag. Then you have the next one. So you have next column as well. So I have a ID here, guys, everyone. Opening ID, and then you will have the closing ID here, guys, everyone. The opening ID and closing ID. So I'm using it 3443. That's it, guys. The next, I'm using it, everyone. What's it? You have it, salary. This is called as an opening tag. And here you will have the closing tag. Closing tag is always given with a slash here, guys. So what is it you have it, everyone? The closing, what is the value you have it for the salary? 50,000. And now the final row, the final column I have it. So final column is what? Job. This is the opening job. And this is called as what? Closing tag of the job. That's it. Between these two, you will have the data. So here I can give as a software engineer. So guys, this is called as the row tags. So, but how many rows you have it? 3 rows are there now. I'll place the second row here. So instead of the alien, I'll give it here Bobby. And instead of this ID number, I will change the ID number to what is that? 32. Instead of this, I'll give it a 60. And instead of this, I will give it a senior software engineer. So this is called as what, guys? The row tag 2. Okay, then the next one, you have the row tag 2 is there. And now, guys, the next one, what's the next one you have it? So the next one here, I'm giving it the final row. So what is it you have it, guys, everyone? Carl or Carol, whatever you say it. And then you have what's it, guys? 5564 70,000. And here I can say the job is what? MGR. Now the rows are completed. In fact, now this is the time where we end the root tag. So ending of the root tag means what? Same root tag. We have to just take it up here. That's it. Slash. So this is called as the data in which format here, guys? The data in the XML format. And here this data is called as in what? JSON format. So here, likewise, we are going to deal with various type of file formats. Okay. because this is a data engineering, guys. How do we manage the data? That is our main task. So we are going to deal with the various types of data. Now, we have already done with the semi-structured data and as well as the structured data. What about the unstructured data? The name it itself, the word it itself says unstructured. Means what? There is no structure for the data. Such as the photos in your mobile phone, you have it. All unstructured data, guys. And then you have the videos. That is also unstructured. Okay. Videos, photos. Okay, guys. Videos, photos, and then you have the chat history is there. This is also unstructured, guys. And then you have that photos, videos, photos, videos, chat history, and then your voice notes. Guys, these are all called as what? Unstructured data. There is no proper structure for the data here, guys. But in Azure, guys, in Azure, because we are dealing with the Azure here now. So in Azure, where do we store this data? This all data we have it now. Actually, to work on this data, we require to get this data into the Azure, because this is what Azure data engineering. No, guys, Azure data engineering means what? So how does the Azure manages the data? That means engineering techniques, engineering or the techniques we apply on the data by using the Azure. So to apply the same, guys, to apply the same here, we have the Azure storages. That means what? The Azure storages are common for all the services. Whether we use the service here called, what is it, guys? Whether we use the service called, what is that? ADF, or the service called what? ADB, or the service called what? Synapse, or the service called what? Fabric, or the service we use it as OpenAI, or the service we use machine learning. For all of them, guys, for all of them, guys, these storages are common. That means commonly we use the storages, guys. Commonly we use the storages. So first type of a storage, everyone, the first type of a storage, this is called as what? Azure Blob Storage. So it is like a simple, guys, simple funda, I'll tell you. In a computer, when you wanted to store the data, what are the file formats you have it, guys, everyone? Can you tell me? In a PC, you want to store the data, guys, everyone. Yeah, everyone, please respond. So in a PC, you wanted to store the data, guys. What are the formats you have it? For a text type of data, we go for the Microsoft Word. Yeah. We go for what? We go for what? Microsoft. We go for Microsoft Word document. In the same way, if you have some data where you wanted to put the data in the form of a rows and columns, at that time we go with what? Excel sheet. In the same way, if you want the data which is basically it should only read the data but not write the data, at that time we go with what? PDF documents. Am I right? So whereas these are all the various formats in the PC available for storing the different kind of data, here as well in Azure also for storing different kind of data, guys. For storing different kind of data, we have, what is that? For storing different kind of data, we have different storages. So here we have, what's that? Azure Blob Storage, which is basically the Azure Blob Storage is nothing but what? It is a basic storage of Azure, which is provided. It is the very basic storage of the Azure, which is provided, wherein, guys, wherein we can store any kind of a data. Any kind means what? Whether it is a structured data, guys, or else it can be, what is that? Everyone, semi-structured data, guys, everyone. And the third one is called as what, everyone? Unstructured data. So whatever the format of data you have it, that we can store it in the Azure Blob Storage. But there is a drawback in the Azure Blob. What is that? The drawback is that here you have, what is that, guys? Here, the Azure Blob Storage is used or stored, or it can store only the limited data. What's the limited? The limit is 500. Yes, guys, 500 TB means what? Up to 500 terabyte only you can store it. But in the real time, you may have basically very massive amount of data, okay, which cannot be measured, which cannot be measured. You have very bulky data, huge data. So how to store that? For storing the same, again, the Azure has come out with the another storage that is called as what? Azure Data Lake Gen 2. Azure Data Lake Gen 2 is the another storage, guys. Where in this Azure Data Lake Gen 2, guys, here we can store any kind of a data, but this data can be in what? Unlimited format. We can store it in what? Unlimited. That means we can store what's it? Unlimited data. Unlimited data we can store. No limit for storing this data. Whatever the volume of data you have it, you can store it. But between these two, Azure Data Lake Gen 2 and the blob storage, there was one more storage, guys, which has retired now, but still I'll tell you for the knowledge sake. Here you have what's it? Azure Data Lake Gen 1. Now it has retired in this June, guys. Okay. It has already retired in this June. Okay. So you need not worry on this. But now what does the Azure says? To migrate the data with the data which is already stored in the Gen 1, the data which is already stored in the Gen 1, guys, the data which is already stored in the Gen 1, it recommends to, guys, the data which is already stored in Gen 1, it recommends to, yes, guys, it recommends to store the data. Yes, it recommends to migrate the data from the Gen 1 storage to the Gen 2 storage. Okay. So here you have what's that? Azure Data Lake Gen 2, which can store unlimited data, guys. And the third type of storage, you have it as what? Azure SQL database. That means what? You can store the data into the SQL database. That means on the on-premises system or in the on-premises system, we can say it as what, guys? SQL Server database. Am I right? SQL Server database. Am I right? So the same SQL Server on the cloud, it is called as what? SQL database. That is called as what? Azure SQL database. So as you know, the databases always can store what, guys? Only one type of data, that is called as what? Structured data. No other format of data is supported in this database. Okay. The fourth one, guys, you have the Azure Cosmos DB. Azure Cosmos DB. So Cosmos DB means what? This is called as what? No SQL database. So when there is no SQL means what? We can store the data in these two formats. What is that? Structured and semi-structured. But unstructured is not supported into the Azure Cosmos DB. Okay. So this is called as what? Semi-structured databases. So this is on very trending part, guys, right now. These are on very trend. Okay. So wherein we have what is that? These are trending. And these are okay, very frequently used. That is called as what? Azure SQL database. Sorry, Azure Cosmos DB, guys. So we are getting a plenty of data from the Cosmos right now. Then again, we have what's that? Azure Synapse Analytics. So what is by Azure Synapse Analytics, guys? The Azure Synapse Analytics, everyone. The Azure Synapse Analytics is nothing but this is a data warehouse of Azure. And when you talk about the data warehouse, guys, when you talk about the data warehouse, all the structured data will be stored. No other kind of data is stored here except the structure. And when you talk about the data warehouse is a place where cleansed data is stored here. Okay, where ready data ready for further processing, will be stored into the Azure Synapse. So guys, I can say what's that? Azure Synapse stores the structured data, and this is called as a data warehouse. It is called as what? Data warehouse. Okay, guys. So guys, what is the data warehouse of Amazon? The Redshift. Redshift is the, guys, Redshift is the data warehouse of, what is it, guys? Everyone, Redshift is the data warehouse of, what is that? There is Amazon. At the same time, the data warehouse of that is GCP, Google Cloud Platform. That is called as what? Yes, guys, that is called as what? BigQuery. Likewise, the Azure Synapse is the data warehouse of Azure, guys. Okay. So apart from this, again, you have the next one that is called as what? Azure Elastic Pools. So here you can say, guys, when you elastic pool means what? Obviously, when you have this elastic pool, so obviously the elastic pool is nothing but the group of databases will be stored, such as you have one production database is there, production DB is there. Then you have what is it, guys? Production DB, sales DB, multiple databases. So multiple databases stored at a place that is called as what? Elastic pool. The multiple databases stored at a place is called as what? Guys, everyone, is called as what? Elastic pool. Likewise, guys, again, you have what's it? Azure virtual machine. This is also another type of, storage we have it, where you can create a parallel virtual machine, where you can create the parallel virtual machine into the system. Okay. So this is also the storage, but here the virtual machine, guys, if you are using the virtual machine, you can store the structured data. Okay, guys. So basically, these are some of the storages we have it, guys. So totally, we can say here the number of storages are 90 plus. Okay, guys. Totally, we have the storages as what? 90 plus storages into the Azure. Okay. So anyways, all those storages, we will discuss it one by one, guys. Okay. And that's it for the day now, today. And if you have any doubts, everyone, if you have any doubts, you can just ask me now. We can discuss it.